everybody, this is Anne. Everybody loves handle ideas, and I have 5 new ones that I'm going to demonstrate for you. I use the Diamondcore extruder tools all the time, and I thought it'd be fun to alter them for really unique handles. Not only that, but you'd be creating mugs that would stand out, even becoming topics of conversation. Now here are 4 of the Diamondcore handle extruders and 1 of the carvers that we'll be using today. To use the extruders, I like to pull the blanks off of a block right out of the bag. The first tool I'll demonstrate is the one that I use to make my handles, the R12 profile. Each tool has an adjustable sled along the back, along with a unique metal profile. Make sure your clay surface is flat and smooth. Place the tool flat and pull it through to the other side. You get a beautifully profiled handle blank. I'm going to demonstrate how to make the handles that I use on my own mugs. I cut the handle to the length that I need. I used a needle tool and sliced through the side indentation about a ½ inch or so up from the bottom. I did the same thing along the other indentation. I turned the blank around and did the same thing along that side of the blank, making sure the cuts were the same lengths. I picked up the blank and using a wet thumb, I coaxed the middle section downward. I gently worked the 2 side strips together to form a V shape and joining the ends securely. I repeated this along the other side of the handle. With the middle sections pointing downward, form a bridge in the center of the handle and adjust the V-shaped ends. I took a little more clay and formed little teardrop shapes with them. I inserted them into the holes along each side of the handle. This is what the handle looks like from the front. And here's one of the mugs that I usually make to draw and paint on, proudly displaying that buckle-style handle. Let's try altering another handle in a herringbone pattern. For this handle blank, I'll be using the R8 extruder tool with a narrow stripped center. First, I used my needle tool to make carved slits at the same angle along the first side of the blank. I then turned the handle to create carved slits at the same angle along the second side of the handle. And when I bridge the handle, you can see the added dimension that it gives to the herringbone effect. Now here's what it looks like when attached to a mug. It's just a simple carving motion, but it gives you a really nice effect and takes the mug to the next level. I got an idea for this handle from the creative and inspirational Carol Hodges, who suggested using these silicone candy molds. I happen to have one with the cool braids. As it turns out, the R3 with a flat profile is the perfect size and shape to fit into the mold. I adjusted the sled way down to the wooden handle and pulled a thick handle blank. I turned the blank round side down and laid it into the braid mold slot. Starting from the center, I began pressing it firmly down into the mold. I wet my fingers and began working the back side flat and shoring up the edges. Now when I pull the clay out, I have a handle with a braid on the top. When I bridge it around like a handle, the braid becomes more pronounced. Here's what it looks like attached to a mug. I can see this decorated with a nautical theme, a summer beach theme, or even a winter sweater type of theme for hot chocolate on a cold day. I really liked using the silicone mats, so let's try another one inspired by the bead molds. For this blank, I used the R6, which has a flattened oval smooth shape. I rolled out a thin coil about the size of a pencil width. I laid the coil along the cavity of the bead mold. I then began to press the clay down to fill the beads. With a wet finger, I worked the clay down flat along the back, really making sure the clay filled the cavity as much as possible. I slowly pulled the clay out to reveal a string of beads and set that aside. I also had this leather overstitch tool that I thought would add to my design. To begin the pattern, I used a bamboo stick to create very slight indents on each side of the blank. This leaves a path for me to roll the overstitch tool to create a pattern looking like stitches. I need to stretch the handle blank into a bridge shape. For demonstration purposes, I had this handle form left over from another project to use, but of course you should attach the bridged handle to your mug. Now that the blank is stretched, you can score, slip, and attach the beads to the center of the bridge. I like to use a wet paintbrush to make sure the sides of the beads are connected and sealed to the handle. To me, it looks like an upholstered leather chair with studs. Now here it is, attached to a mug. I can see this handle being used with a Western saddle theme, or extend that upholstered lounge chair theme and relax with a hot cup of tea. I'm going to go back to the R8 profile tool to create a very ornately carved Art Deco handle. For the carving part, I'm going to use the T6 carver. It allows me to create bold cuts, but I can still control it pretty well. Starting at the top of the center strip, I cut an angle downward, then pulled back to make a diamond shape. I continued moving down the center strip while making consistent diamond cuts. Using the same movements, I cut the same diamond shapes into the side strip, just staggered from the center diamonds. Using my needle tool, I sliced a line right beside the top of the diamond, carving all the way down. I turned the blank and made more slices beside those first slices, forming V shapes along the diamonds. I did this on both sides of the blank. Using my needle tool, I cut sharp lines from one end of the diamond shape to the other in the center strip. When I bridged the handle, each of the diamond shapes took on new dimensions. Here it is attached to a mug. The amount of detail reminded me of the Art Deco designs, so you can continue with that on the mug, or do maybe more diamond-shaped carvings for bands around the mug to give it a geometric theme. When they're side by side, the ornate handles make the mugs really stand out, and I'm sure they would get some attention at any arts and crafts fair for selling. Thanks to the newest members of our Little Street Pottery Research Facility team. If you'd like to join the team and earn a title, click on the Super Thanks button or the link to buy me a coffee. In any case, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time in the studio.